Hello, everyone. I'm John Ostapowicz, along my friends and partners Dylan Lux and Cameron Niemi to my right. And what a beautiful day it is here in Ohio Stadium. And fantastic Columbus Battle of Ohio is underway as the Youngstown State Penguins take on the Ohio State Buckeyes right here. And for the Jambar, this is a special opportunity here as we will talk about the Penguins and the Buckeyes. And the last time these two teams played was in 2008 when Jim Tressel was coaching the Buckeyes. And we'll have Dylan here telling you a little bit more about that matchup and much more.
Well, you said it yourself, John. The last time these Penguins and Buckeyes faced off was in the Jim Tressel era here at Ohio Stadium. The last matchup, August 30th, 2008, the Buckeyes took the victory 43-0 against the Penguins. In the matchup previous, the only other matchup in these two teams' history, September 1st, 2007, where they won 38-6, the Buckeyes. So the Penguins only 6 points against these Buckeyes the entire history. They're going to come out firing in this game, definitely looking to make a mark.
Yeah, Cam, can you tell us a little bit about some of those other marks as well and what's really going to go on here tonight?
Yeah, so the Penguins had their home opener just 9 days ago at Stambaugh Stadium. They had a dominant victory against Valparaiso with a 52-10 win. The Penguins had a second half shutout as well. They forced 3 turnovers in the second half, and the defense also stepped up in special teams as well.
Yeah, and you talk about that game, and we'll talk about it here throughout the live stream and the broadcast here, but let's talk about the statistics, and there is a lot to run down. When you look at the spread and you look at the statistics, it's not in Youngstown's favor, but anything is possible. It is 99-1. Buckeyes have that advantage, and it's really could go any way, but the favor is in the Buckeyes. Now, when you look at the spread, people who go to MGM in Vegas who love to bet, the spread is 42.5 plus. Youngstown is looking to cover. That may not happen, but if you are to bet and Youngstown pulls away with that margin, if you were to bet $100, you would pull away with $4,200. Now, that's a lot of money for a small town team to really pick up a victory here, but there is a lot of upsets that have happened here in Ohio Stadium, so anything is possible, and we might see that here tonight. But going back, Youngstown taking on Valparaiso in home. Cameron, can you tell us a little bit about those stats and those key players?
Yeah, so for me, just a few key players to look out for today for the Penguins. I have running back Tyshawn King. He had 11 carries last week for 111 yards, 2 rushing touchdowns. Of course, he had the first touchdown for the Penguins at 62-yard rush for the touchdown for the Penguins to get him going at home. Also, quarterback Mitch Davidson. He had 19 passing attempts last week. I'd like to see him double that maybe today, get the passing game going. He had 130 yards in the air. And also I have 2 players on the defense. Defense end Dylan Woodkey and also Chris Fitzgerald. These 2 guys are the leaders on the team. They've been around. We need a big day on the defense line.
Yeah, you talk about that big day, and that big day has to come for this Ohio State offense and defense. Only scored 23 points against a team they were favored to beat by 40 against Indiana. They allowed them to score 3, so they didn't get that goose egg, but they're looking here tonight. But Youngstown, that defense proving stout against Valparaiso in that second half coming out of the locker room. So, Dylan, can you tell us a little bit about this Ohio State team and what they can do to contain this really stout Penguins defense?
I'll take that. Thanks, John. You know, you can't talk about Ohio State football without talking about Marvin Harrison Jr. Top 5 in the top 100 of college football players this year. He is number 3. I mean, he's an incredible player. We didn't see a whole lot of him last game, only 2 receptions, but with the different quarterback situation, he'll definitely see some more today, I'm sure. But also for the Buckeyes, Emeka Egbuka, 22nd in the top 100. That's for the offense. And Tommy Eichenberg also in the top 50 for the Buckeyes at number 44. And this team is just so stout. I mean, top 5 in the entire NCAA. Just some great athletes. And I'm excited to watch both teams square off today.
You want to talk about some more stats as well. Youngstown State University, although they're coming in against a massive opponent, 5th-ranked Ohio State. But here's another stat line people do not know here at home, that Youngstown, as of right now, is 4th nationally in the run game. If Ohio State struggles against that run, which Indiana State had some yards on them, that could really prove the key factor. If Tyshawn King can pound that ball up that line, that can be the difference maker here for Youngstown. If you look at the rushing stats from Ohio State and Youngstown, there is a 200-yard difference in the rushing game, and that comes with Tyshawn King as well. And you have a couple other people that can make some plays when needed. And Cameron, can you tell us about those Ohio State players and some of those key moments that have to prove really that pivotal factor here for Ohio State?
Yeah, we didn't see Dre Rushton last week. Maybe we'll see him today. He sat out with injury. But we know the run game for WSU was good last week. It was solid. So what I'd like to see is the passing game getting going early. I want to see the receivers get involved. Bryce Oliver, Latrell Fordham. Need to see Max Tomczak in there. Get the receivers going early. Also, I like to see keep the defense off the field. Last year in Kentucky, the defense was on the field for a lot of the game against a big school like Ohio State, obviously. You want to keep your defense fresh. You want fresh legs in there. And lastly, you want to play – the Penguins got to play fast. They have to play physical from the jump. They got to keep the pressure on Ohio State. And maybe we'll see some trick plays, maybe some fourth downs. You go for it if you're coach.
Why not, right? And as for Ohio State, the number one key coming into this matchup is you got to figure out the quarterback situation. Kyle McCord starting last game, although they do have two competing quarterbacks in the quarterback room, they're both going to have some minutes today. Your number one goal against an FCS team is to figure out the quarterback situation. It may not come out to bite you in this game against an FCS school, but when you get into that Big Ten competition and those bigger schools, it's going to come back to haunt you. So definitely want to figure out that situation tonight, get the passing game going for Ohio State. Obviously, we didn't see a whole lot of it last game. I think only 20 completions from Kyle McCord. So I would love to see some more of that and to figure out that quarterback controversy.
Dylan, you talk about FCS, but nothing gets bigger than one of the biggest, really, the divisions in the FBS, and that is the Missouri Valley. And nothing gets more difficult than that division. North Dakota and South Dakota State as well. And both of those teams, South Dakota State, we will play them towards the end of the year. And they won really the championship. And they're coming back in and they're looking for another one. And that is probably one of the biggest games you can get for Youngstown State rather than Ohio State as well. And with that division in that conference, it doesn't get any more challenging than the Missouri Valley. And tonight, well, actually today, there's a lot riding on this game for Ohio State. If they lose to Youngstown State, that 1% makes that factor. They might be knocked out of the competition or even that playoff spot and could fall out of the top 25 with the loss here to Youngstown tonight for the Buckeyes. They would like to prevent that because that would make their, schedule just a little bit more easier when you have, Alabama and you have Michigan on your schedule. So a lot of tough teams that have a lot of key players. And Cam, can you tell us a little bit more? I guess we will not. With the game just about 40 minutes underway, we would love to tell you more, and we could sit here for hours and tell you about Youngstown State and the Buckeyes, but we will be back right here and inside the studio at halftime. So stick around. If you have the Big Ten Network, this will be televised live, so you would like to really watch this game and watch all this unfold. But we will be right back here at halftime.